welcome to another skills webinar. We are getting ready to start for today's skills webinar, and I definitely either need more coffee or I need some sleep. I'm not sure which one, maybe a combination of two, who knows? But I am tongue-tied today, so it's going to be very interesting to see how we're going. While I'm getting the live stream ready for Facebook, I just wanted to introduce quickly our guest for today, and our guest for today is Kylea Martin. And Kylea is Kylea, she answers to both. There's a running discussion in the office here to how you know her. But Kylea is a financial strategist. Now, I've had the privilege of working with Kylea both from a client's perspective and from on the new brand Total Eclipse agency that they are working on right now. So I'm very, very excited to be here with Kylea today, and I'm very excited because Kylea's gone through my course creation Kickstart, and we are going to share with you her free course today as well. So it's very, very exciting. I get to see lots of things coming to fruition today and join us. So Kylea, welcome to
thank you.
Our very, very first skills webinar for 2021. It's very
2021.
exciting.
I can't believe it's here.
I know I said something this morning in the skills web in my tip session on, last year this happened. I'm like, oh shit, actually that was 2019.
Yeah, it seems to have flown. I think the COVID year, we think it will, 2020 now known as the COVID year for me, yep. Is gone, but we're into 2021, and I, like many other people, are going to make 2021 so much better than what 2020 was for everybody. So
yeah. Well, Kylea, you're also one of my marketing circle members, so my approach to 2021 is we're all turning 21 again, and we can make this year whatever we want it to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that ties really well into our topic today, because we're going to be looking at the financial foundations for your business. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a marketer. I'm a bright, shiny object girl. I love numbers, not. I love numbers in the context where someone who understands them, someone who knows what the foundations are, allows me to be able to see them, allows me to be able to interpret them, and allows me to be able to know where our next area of growth is, where our areas of growth are. And, there are times in business where the numbers tell you the story that you want to hear. They'll also tell you the story you don't want to hear.
Yes.
Tough moments, but they are essential in everything that we do. And I can tell you, in the role as my role as a troubleshooter and my role in business, the one thing that is key to what we do is the financial foundations. So Kylea, this is your webinar. This is your ability to come in and tell us all about the financial foundations. And I really wanted to start this session with something, and I'm going to grab the live stream up on my phone in a minute, guys. So if you see me looking off, it'll be because I'm looking at the live stream questions as well. I want to ask our people who are here, do you even know what the financial foundations for your business are? So what financial reports, if we can just pop it into chat and pop it into the comment, what financial reports do you look at already in your business? Now, if it's none, that's fine. We can, we'll work with that. But what financial reports are you looking at? So Kylea, what would some of those things be for those of people who maybe are looking at these reports and didn't even know they were financial reports in lots of ways? What would be some things people might be looking at?
Well, there's three main types of financial reports, and you'll have some additional ones depending on what industry you're in, because there'll be industry specific reports that you'll actually look in that aren't relevant for other businesses. But mainly you got your main known one, profit and loss. Yep. People know that just to say, what's my profit? Am I making a loss? Profit and loss, sometimes called the income statement as well, depending on whereabouts in the world you're from. But yep. Ultimately the profit and loss tells us how our business is going over a period of time. And then the other key one is a balance sheet report. So a balance sheet report is basically a statement in time, and it's a list of all your assets, all your liabilities, and includes people that you owe money to, people that owe money to you, and ultimately how much equity you have in the business. And that's a statement in time. So that's always at that point in time, this is the position of the business. Another key, I think, is one of the most important key reports as well, is I think a statement of cash flows. I think it's important to know
Yeah.
how your business is tracking. You know, you've got money in the bank. How did that money get in there? What is the source of that money? Is it because you got a loan and you got a big dump of the loan proceeds and therefore you actually owe somebody? Is it because that you've actually made so many sales and people have paid and you've got the cash in the bank account? So it breaks down your source of the funds and where they're coming from. So is it from financing? Is it from your operating activities? Or is it because you yourself have put money into the business? So it's a source of equity funds as well. So they're the key, for me, they're the three main key financial reports. And, you know, but like anything, you can't get those financial reports unless you have your foundations set up to actually get that. And that's all about making sure you're correctly recording your transactions, you're actually got them organized so that you can actually create these reports. And that's where, to get that information, we have to go right back to the very beginning. Like anything, you know, they say, let's start at the very beginning, you know, a very good place to start. And I think that's what's important is if we don't go into business to make a loss, we go into business to create an empire. You know, we all want to create our empire. It's just the size of our empire is different depending on what your ultimate aim is. But we're all going in to create our own slice of an empire. And, you know, to do that, you need to be keeping track of your numbers and you need to have the right structures in place to actually be able to do that. I think the first lesson I like everybody to understand is that don't underestimate the power of numbers in business. They drive your business decision making. They drive what you can and can't do. And you need to appreciate those numbers and you need to learn to understand them as a business owner. You're passionate about your business, but you also need to be passionate and understand your numbers and take the time to actually do that.
And so I think what we, for those attending here, guys, is also to remember that if you haven't understood your numbers or you don't, it's like I've said this to Kylie and many marketing circle members before, you didn't get into business to become a marketer, but you actually need to wear that hat. And that's the same situation. This is one of the hats that we need to wear in business. As much as I know numbers and I know the importance of the numbers, I didn't get into business to be sitting here crunching the numbers on every product and that we launch. I get someone else to do that for me. But I do also need to know that we are there. We're live. Judith just asked what Facebook page are we live on. We're live on the business Facebook page. So facebook.com/business.com.au. I'll see if I can grab a URL and put it into the chat as well. We are live there as well. We can't always guarantee the live stream though, guys. So bear that in mind. Facebook are not always strong. So if you do want to be here in the webinar and you do want to ask questions, that's a really big one coming through. So I know that, you know, I've done many things in my business life and my business time.
Yes.
That maybe hasn't been, you know, the best way to start my businesses or start those sorts of things. And one of those, and I'm going to say it here, is when I started consulting, I thought I would be good and help everyone in the industry who happens to, you know, been screwed over by my industry, and I would help them, and that would allow them to, you know, me to balance out the bad of the industry, and allow people to be able to come back and do it. Now, all that brought me, and Kylea will back me up, is a whole heap of people who wanted everything for nothing and cheap, and it was most probably not my industry that burnt them. It was the expectations of something for nothing that unfortunately had burnt these people through the process. So charging, and you'll hear, I'm going to say it, you'll hear wanky coaches out there saying charge what you're worth or charge, but by knowing your numbers, you know how much time, you know how much value and everything that you need to charge into that process. So guys, please do not feel overwhelmed by this. This is actually going to empower you to make informed decisions so that you actually can make a really good decision on your business and your numbers. And surprisingly enough, numbers come into marketing too, don't they, Kylea?
Especially when we need to track those pesky marketing costs that we spend and make sure that we can make sure we're making money from our spend and what our return on investment is always.
And your insights and all of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So where your activity is. And I think this is a really good point that we bring up here. Knowing our numbers is also about knowing where we spend our time, and our time actually has a cost attributed to it. It's either your time or someone else's time along that way. So let's delve into it more about these financial foundations. But I did want to take away the fear and if you haven't done this, or you're not, going, I didn't get into business to do this. Yep, we all didn't get into business to do this unless we're an accountant and a financial strategist like Kylea is, but we do need to understand it.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing here is taking away the fear and stepping out. Okay, what's the basic steps we need to get right and to get to those reports where you can actually use them to make business decisions. And I think that's where I wanted to start from now is what's the foundation? I've seen, businesses come in as clients of mine for our bookkeeping and accounting services, and they come in at different levels. And I think if I could, see what I've learned from everybody there is get your foundations right to begin with. And that includes things as, first of all, a bank account. Make sure you have a separate business bank account for all your income and expenses to go through. Separate your personal expenses. This is particularly important if you're trading as a sole trader, because it's quite often as a sole trader, you'll kind of try and wrap everything up sometimes in your own personal account. And this can really cloud how your business is actually going. So even as a sole trader, as any type of business, if you're going in, even if it's as a hobby, as a part-time business, keep a separate bank account.
Yeah.
Have it set up and have everything related to your business go through that bank account. All business expenditure, all income from the business, and keep your personal expenses separate. So where you can, if you need to transfer money across to you personally, do the transfer across from your business bank account to personal, which you can do as a sole trader, and then do your personal expenditure through there. I think that's probably the first step, is to get that right, because then it makes it easier to track those numbers for your business.
So homework point number 1, for those who are attending and know that I like to assign homework, is if you don't have a separate bank account for your business, go and call your bank today and make one. Or, jump online, because chances are you can do it online really easily now.
Yeah, you can do it online, or you need to create a business bank account, or you need your ABN. If you're running a business, you've got an ABN, and they don't cost anything, You can get fee-free bank accounts for businesses to run your transactions through. You don't need, credit cards and, super duper accounts with all these whiz-bang things on it that you're never going to use. You just need a basic transaction account, maybe with a debit card attached to it for your business, depending on where you're at in your business journey, but get that set up straight away.
And guys, I do need to give one little piece of disclaimer that I did forget to do at the start of this. All advice provided in this webinar is general in nature, like every other skills webinar and session that we've done. So do make sure that you do your own research, that you talk to a financial strategist like Kylea, or you do that throughout that process, because it's equally as important. You've got, your business is different to my business and how we run, because seriously, no one else runs 9 brands. Let's just be really honest. Unless you're nuts.
No one else is crazy enough, let's be honest.
Exactly, let's be really honest. I said I was nuts. So, okay, my volume at my end's lower. Okay, let's see if I can up my mic. That's unusual for me, isn't it? My mic's, how's that going? Is that better, guys? I wonder if my microphone has decided to
have a mind of its own.
Have a mind of its own. I'm just going to switch mics for a second, see if that's better. Is that better?
Oh, that's louder for me.
That's louder? Yeah, beautiful. I just switched mics. Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. That's great. Thank you for letting me know, guys. That helps. I didn't have crisp on either, so that we should have no background noise now.
Excellent.
So bonus. Okay, so that's a really key thing to know, is all of the advice that you get in a skills webinar or in the BBB group is general in nature. Talk to the strategists, talk to the experts, because regardless of businesses being different, your personal circumstances are all different, and that's what we need to know. Now, I've got a couple of Q&A questions coming in here, Kylie. Sounds okay. Yeah, beautiful. People can hear me fine. That's okay. That's all good. Beautiful. Okie dokie. I will get rid of those. We've answered those Q&A questions. Okay, so business bank account number 1, separate bank account.
Yep. Next foundation to get to your good business numbers that you can make decision on, set up a bookkeeping system. Now, people get scared of when you hear those words, and it doesn't necessarily mean you need the top subscription of, say, Xero or MyOb. Yep. You can use a basic system depending on the size of your business. If it's a hobby and it's a small business, an Excel spreadsheet set up that tracks your business numbers is fine, but you need some form of bookkeeping system, because bookkeeping, the question is, what is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is all about collecting the information, recording that information, and organising that information so that we can start all of our reporting, because we can't do a profit and loss, a balance sheet, cash flow, any other analysis on our numbers in our business unless we're recording them and organising them, because only then are they available for us. So set up a bookkeeping system. Now, if the size of your business, there's Xero, there's QuickBooks Online, there's MyOb, there's Reckon, FreshBooks, they're all there. If you're very small, use a Excel spreadsheet. We as a business provide some small Excel spreadsheet templates for those businesses that can track their information through there. Set it up there so at least you're tracking it through there. And get into a routine of doing your bookkeeping. If you're going to do it yourself, get yourself into a routine. Put some time in your diary. Linda likes to say time block out.
Time block it out.
Exactly. Time block it out for you to do your bookkeeping. And that is about reconciling what's gone through the bank account with what you've got in your bookkeeping system, so that you're making sure those two things balance and that you're tracking everything.
I learnt with systems too, guys, is you will change and you will grow over time. Because FreshBooks was where I started when I was freelancing, and look, it's grown and it's got heaps more stuff in it. And I've just put a link to some BBB articles in BBB about some tools and that we've compared. But be prepared to grow. Be prepared to move and grow on systems and change as you grow and your business needs grow. But yeah, time blocking and the information is as only good as what you put into it is what you can get out of it. So make sure you time block and add stuff.
And that's important. If you're time blocking it and you're getting into a routine of doing your own bookkeeping. Now, if your business, at the very beginning, you might do your own bookkeeping because you're starting out, you're trying to keep costs low, you don't have a lot of income coming in. But once you grow that empire of yours, outsource your bookkeeping to an expert to look after it and take the hassle off. Ultimately, we all get into business when we've all got our own passions and we've all got our own areas of expertise. Mine happens to be, my passion is numbers, and also happens to be my area of expertise. It's where I've done all my studies. So I love looking after people's numbers. I love helping people with their numbers. But you might have got into your business for some other reason. You might be a coach like Linda, and that's what your passion is. So you outsource your numbers so that you can work on your passion, which is what you got into business for. But at the very beginning, if you're doing it yourself, just make sure you're getting into a routine to make sure that it is done regularly. And that's, you get that foundations right. And from there we can go on and we look at more deeper at our bookkeeping, financial accounting and management accounting, which is what leads to the analysis of our numbers.
Yep, beautiful. So homework point number 2 is make some time for your bookkeeping.
Yep, absolutely. You're not going to be able to really analyze anything unless it's done.
And as a coach and an analyst and a productivity person, I say track how much time that takes you to how much money making time it takes away from your business. so that when it comes to outsourcing it, you're not sitting there going, okay, what's going to cost me that much to outsource it? What you're actually doing is, and Kylea will like this, you're going, okay, it takes me this much time to do those numbers. If I was using that time to be doing revenue generating topics, I would make this much. It's going to cost me this much to have a bookkeeper. I therefore have this much extra because I got that time back.
Yep.
And that's what the equation should be, guys. It shouldn't be the other way around. Okay.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what you're outsourcing, what expertise area you're outsourcing, whether it's being your bookkeeping, your marketing, your admin, it's all, you got to consider that as an investment into your business, because by outsourcing that, you can do more of what you're there to do, and that will only generate more income.
Yep.
You can't generate income if you're sitting there doing all your admin work, all your bookkeeping work. You won't create your empire. So it's advice. Don't think of it as an expense. Think of it as an investment in your business and in your business growth.
Yep.
So yeah. So look, really, like as I briefly explained before, I'd like to talk about a little bit about what is the bookkeeping, what is financial accounting, and what is management accounting. How are they the same and how are they different for your business? So I think for me, bookkeeping, as I said before, it's about the collecting of your information. So what you've actually got in revenue, what you've spent your money on, it's about recording those transactions and making sure that they're recorded so that we have a record of it, and organising it. So organising all your expenses or your outgoings. Okay, let's organise those. What is our marketing? What is our website? What is our stock? What is our subscriptions? What is our office or rent? And that's what bookkeeping does. It organises it from that. And that's simply what bookkeeping is. It's just a systematic way of recording, collecting, and organising our information. Once you've got it recorded, then you can use that information to start making informed decisions for your business. So if you want to make better business decisions in the future, it all starts with having that information recorded, and that is what your bookkeeping is. So that's why it's always first level, and that's why we always get into a routine to get it all done and make sure it's done timely. So then that leads us into financial accounting and management accounting. Financial accounting and management accounting, often people don't understand the differences between the two of them.
Yep.
They're the same, but they're very much different as well. So financial accounting is all about providing summary reports. So your profit and loss, your balance sheet, and it's about providing that information generally to people outside of the organisation, to the tax office, to ASIC, to the bank if you want to borrow money, to shareholders if you're a company that has shareholders. Financial accounting is about providing those reports to them. Generally, it includes your balance sheet, your income statement or your profit and loss, and sometimes as well it might include now a statement of cash flows. So an analysis of where the source of funds have come from the business over the year. And you can pick up any publicly listed company, go to their website, they will have their annual report, and in that annual report you will find those three statements. And they're your financial accounting. So your financial accounting is about preparing those statements as information for users that are external to your business. The difference with management accounting is all about communicating your numbers to people within your company, so inside your company. So depending on how big your business is, that might be just you as the business owner, that might be you as the business owner and different line managers or supervisors who might be looking after different departments. That might be, if you think of a large company, it'll be your general managers of the different departments of your company. And that is about providing more detailed information, more regular information, whereas a financial accounting, you're generally only providing it as you need it if you're going for a bank loan or at the end of financial year. Management accounting, it's all about doing it daily and more detailed. So whereas a financial statement might just have Here was our revenue, $100,000 for the year as an example. Management accounting will go, okay, our revenue is $100,000, $20,000 of it is because of Department A, $20,000 of it is because of Department B, $60,000 is because of Department C. And that's the difference of where management accounting, it's going to look at all that little secret information and breakdown by department, by service type, depending on how you report. So you might have a couple of different service types. So you might have, you might provide, for example, I might provide coaching, I might provide bookkeeping, I might provide admin. So it breaks down our income to those different levels as well. And the other thing is it helps you make information for internal decisions. So where do I want to invest that money within my company, in which department? Where am I making my profit? Because we also break down our expenses the same way we would break down our income. So we can actually then see profitability via our departments or our service type within our company. And then, of course, we have our overhead costs. But ultimately, management accounting and financial accounting both still rely on the information that you record within your bookkeeping system. So that's where your bookkeeping system is the ultimate foundation of all reporting that follows it. You get that wrong, you're not doing that regularly, you can't get your other reports as required.
And it is key, guys. It really is key in small organizations, in large organizations. And I can tell you, when I used to troubleshoot for large organizations and I'd be asked to, see if we were going to keep this branch open or not. Yeah, I'd look at the P&L, but the first thing I wanted to see was the management reports and have a look at that sort of stuff. And it is something that we look at quite regularly here inside what we do is, okay, what division's doing what? Now, and one really key thing that bookkeeping can tell you in amongst all of this, and this is what I've learned from years of corporate work, is one department can be bringing in a hell of a lot of money, but they can also be spending a hell of a lot of money. So just because they bring in money doesn't make them profitable. So that's a really key thing that management reports told me a lot about. And that's one thing that I look for quite particularly in business when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And it comes down like whether it's a service, whether it's a product as well, management accounting, you can drill right down to product level.
Yep.
Is this product, making money? Is it, and not all products have to make money. There it can be what, we call loss leaders, where it may be making a loss, but it's a direct lead into something else that is hugely profitable.
You can see that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's important. And management accounting is also looking at all of our other type ratios as well to have a look in the business. We can drive asset ratios and ratios between departments, and it's all sorts of analysis we can do once we've actually got that all set up.
Beautiful, fantastic. So, okay, let's do a little bit of a poll. Who here has been doing management accounting or been looking at management accounting? Just say in the comments whether you have. No shame if you haven't. Is it going to be something you're going to look at a little bit more? But some business owners might have been doing it, not even knowing that they've been doing it. Now, I've also, guys, popped into the chat box the link to the resources page on Kylie's website so you can download some of the templates and that she was referring to as well. So, look, I've seen businesses do it well. I've seen businesses not do it well. But the businesses who do management accounting well normally know where things are. I used to work for a boss a long time ago where you were on the floor. Yep, some didn't know about it. Some did some of it. I used to work for a boss a while ago where you used to have to know what your particular billing was. And then you had to know what your margin was. And when I say know what it was, not look it up on the computer, if you did not know in the head what your billing pipeline was and what your margin of that pipeline was, he didn't care. We start getting into financial, when we start getting into financial accounting and management accounting, is that the time we need to enroll a professional, or will something like QuickBooks and Xero help me to do this? That's a question we've just been asked. Kylie?
Yeah, so if you're comfortable looking after your accounting, your bookkeeping, I should say, in something like QuickBooks and Xero, they will provide your management reports in there. They all have just 1 second. Excuse me, I do have suffering a bit from asthma at the moment, so.
Yes, poor thing.
I'm just trying to, I can feel the chest tightening and the coughing.
Weather changes and pollen around is not,
Yeah.
not doing you any favours. So guys.
Apologies for that. So back to the question. Yeah, look, all as QuickBooks, Xero, FreshBooks, MyOb, Reckon, they are all extremely good accounting systems. They have standard reports in there, so they will have your standard profit and loss report, balance sheet report. So long as you are recording, again, going back to the foundations, everything links back to bookkeeping. If you are recording that correctly and you're doing it routinely, then you can run the standard reports within those to start looking at them. Okay. When you want to engage and change, then you probably want to look at engaging someone to actually help you do that.
Have a look at that. Guys, Kylie's got a course which I just popped into chat on the webinar here because Judith just asked, she can hear me perfectly, what's my Business Academy courses. I'm just going to pop in the BBB one as well for you, just for those of you who are looking at it, which is the Reed-Enever Group Academy, and that is here. But Kylie's actually got a free course which will help you through those foundations and those successes. My tip inside that point, if you get to that stage, is if you can't afford to have a bookkeeper or someone do it for you, maybe hire someone to consult to help you make sure that you get the information in. Kylie's resource link should be coming up. Bear with me. It is a little bit further up the chat. Here we go. I'll open up the link again and grab it and pop it in. It's under resources. It's just a little bit further up the chat today, guys. We are moving quite quickly actually today. But we'll get through. Here we go. Here's the resources link as well. There we go. All panels attendees, there's the resources link. So you should be able to do that one. And that's the resources page there as well. And I'll pop it, guys, on the Facebook Live. I'll come in and I'll pop some links in there for you as well too. Now, feel free to jump into that free course, guys, for no other reason than understanding what's going on. Now, we're going to still keep going in the webinar today, but I just thought it was important to let people know of that at this stage in time, because if you are looking for help, and another important lesson in my business life journey is it's never not okay to ask for help. It's the moments that you don't ask for help and you continue on and you keep battling through that are the moments that tend to bite you throughout this journey. So ask for help. There's plenty of people out there to help you, and Kylea is one of them.
Yeah, and so just so you guys are aware, it is a totally free course for everybody. Again, general, it'll include a bit more information than what we'll go through here. And I've just been delayed just with my asthma playing up, but it should be coming out in the next week or two online completely, but it's there for you to enroll in now. So you'll get notified as soon as you see it. And I'm going to have further courses to follow on that will deep dive into more of these issues. So if you want to know more, that will be available in the coming month or two as well.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
Now, I just can see a question there from Chris. He's asked if in Xero, it will allow you to break it down into different departments. So, yep. Chris, within Xero, they use what's called tracking codes. So that's the best way in Xero to probably do it, is to set up your different departments within tracking codes, and then you can actually break down your P&L and report it via your different tracking codes, so your different departments from within there.
Well,
so
it's got a message that people can't hear us anymore. So I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I've got it twice. So I'm just going to double check everything. I'm just going to go to the live stream and see.
Okay, we're getting some more comments to say they can hear, so that's good.
Yep. Okay, guys, if we're coming through to each other, normally the audio is okay. So just check the audio input your end, whether your internet connection is stable. Yeah, I've got other people saying they can hear us. I'm going to run with it. We're still okay, so that we can keep moving through the webinar, because if you can hear me and I can hear you, we should be okay. So just check. Maybe you need to just jump out and jump back in, but we will have a recording of today's session. So if it is something in a technical glitch, we'll have a recording. I'll process the replay and it'll be on the business page by the end of it. Beautiful. Okie dokie. Thank you guys for helping. I love it when the community helps us find out whether the tech gremlins are actually here or not. Beautiful, fantastic. So sorry, what point we're on? Sorry, my
So we're just finishing off with Chris's query on Xero about breaking it down into departments. But the other thing, on all accounting software, whether it's Xero, QuickBooks, they've all got very good tutorials and help and ask questions within there that you can actually look at, or you can, talk to a bookkeeper. You don't have to engage a bookkeeper as well on a full-time basis for outsourcing. For example, we as an industry will often also provide coaching services or consulting services to help you set something up and show you the reporting and offer training. I know I do that as well, and there's quite a lot of bookkeepers within the industry that do that will give you help you with the training and make sure we can set it all up for you. And I also help clients where I'm only reviewing their accounts quarterly. So they'll do their own day-to-day bookkeeping, but I'll come in and do a review at the end of each quarter before they're lodging their BAS. So that way they're getting that bit of a sense check to make sure everything's looking all right. I'll send them any questions that they've got. We'll fix it all up before the BAS is lodged. So you can actually do it that way. So if you're not ready for someone to come in and completely outsource your bookkeeping, but you want a bit of a sense check, consider something like that and engage someone to help you that way.
And guys, I think that's something that we all consider in the world of business, that lots of people, you're just wanting that sense check, whether it comes to marketing, whether it comes to bookkeeping, whether it comes to stressing. And I see this as the founder of BBB quite often, which, by the way, guys, we hit 7 years this year. How nuts am I?
Wow.
7 years. Yeah, watch this space. I have something planned.
As you always do.
I guess it's my evil planning brain. Okay, so the big thing is, amongst all of this, is hire your consultants ad hoc if you can't afford retainer to begin with. I'm available ad hoc. Kylie's available ad hoc. There's lots of consultants that are available ad hoc, because when it comes back to what we were just saying before about the time we spend. So the time you spend worrying and awake on whether you've got your Xero stuff right, or, if you lose 4 hours to it and you spend an hour with Kylea, or you spend an hour with a bookkeeper and they helped you get it set up and you're more confident in the process, just think about it. Think about how much productivity you've got back, how much less stress you've got, and all of those sorts of things. When it goes through it, you can hire consultants ad hoc. And like all things, when talking to consultants, talk to a number, make sure that the fit is right, and make sure that you've asked some questions and you get to know who people are. Because I know I offer a discovery call, and I think Kylea offers a discovery call too, don't you, on your website?
I do. On my website, there is the opportunity to book a discovery call.
Beautiful, fantastic. So you can go to the totaleClipseAgency.com.au. There we go. I can remember things even. And book a discovery call if you want to jump in and have a chat. Take the course by all means, because it's currently free for you to take, but also have a chat and have those conversations.
Absolutely.
Okay. I handled it enough.
No, that's fine. I think one of the things I like people to learn is it's never too early to get everything set up and get it right. If you are behind now, don't keep, we all have that nature sometimes that it's like, I can't look at it, it's too far behind. And then before you know it, you're further behind and you're further behind. It's going to stress you. It's going to worry you. My suggestion is knock it on the head. Pick up the phone, call someone to help and get it sorted out. You might find that there's always somebody worse off than you. I had a client who was 7 years behind. And eventually they made the call because, they had the ATO chasing them. They had, they couldn't get financing for loans because of it. And 7 years behind, it had just snowballed. And I understand that happens. And you know what? Unless you sit down and actually just get it all sorted out, they are spot on with everything now, and they're never behind on anything, which is great. But it was a big lesson for them. 7 years behind, including Baz's for 7 years, it's a lot. And, just do it. That's what I say. It's never too late to call somebody, ask for help, get it all brought up to date, put in the work. Yes, it's going to cost you, but you know what? That's fine. We can organise that. You get it all brought up to date and you get back on track. And I think that's most important.
Dawn was just saying
Never
she's
too late.
She was 2 years behind and a accountant made it relatively painless. Now, guys, there's one other thing. For those of you who are thinking of entering awards, okay, guess what some awards ask for?
Financials.
So if you want to be an award-winning business owner, that I say in inverted commas, sorry, I shouldn't do that. But if you want to be an award-winning business owner, not that, look, personally, I lead by example, and I hope that works. But if you want to be an award-winning business owner, if you want to have awards as part of your process, then you are going to need to have your numbers in order and know what your numbers are, because that's what they look at. They don't look at the bright, shiny social media version of your business. They look at everything. So make sure you've got them together for that process as well.
Yeah. And like I said, don't be afraid. If you are one of those people that you're behind, ask for some help. We're not scary, whether you come to anyone, we will help you, get you sorted out, get you set up on the right track. And it's never too late to get your foundations right and to set it up going forward. If you were 7 years behind and then you fell 7 years behind again, I might not help you the second time, but I will definitely help you the first time, and I will help you stay on track, as I'm sure there'll be anybody else out there. But you've got to have those numbers there in place to help you. Beautiful. So I guess the three reports, the key reports that I've spoken about are your profit and loss report. It's important. It's about a period of time, whether this is my profit and loss over a month, over a quarter, over a half year, or over a year. It's a period of time that you're actually looking at. Whereas a balance sheet, it's a statement at a point in time. So this was my balance sheet, my statement of position as at the 31st of December, as at the 31st of January, or any particular date. But it's a point in time report. And if you're looking for financing, whether it be a mortgage or business financing or anything like that, they're going to want to see those reports. They're going to want to look to see, okay, your profit is showing that you're highly profitable, but you've got no money in the bank account. So why is that? So that's why they want to see both of those. And we may all think, what? How can I be highly profitable and have no money in the bank account? Actually, very easily, because there's a big difference between profit and cash at the bank. And I'm going to deep dive into that. That's a whole deep dive course that I'm going to do later on that's very important. But basically it comes down to, are you selling on credit? Now, if you're only ever selling in cash, you shouldn't get into that position. But if you're invoice and you've got debtors and all that sort of stuff, you could possibly get into that situation. My apologies, the dogs are just barking if you can hear that, because someone's at the front door, but they will be fine. But that's happens. You look at it, but that's why we look at both reports at the same time, and why any way that you're going to go, whether you're going to look for financing, whether you may be looking to sell your business is another reason to have everything up to date, whether you're looking to take on a business partner who's going to buy into your business because you're going to grow your empire again. They're going to want to see your profit and loss, and they're going to want to see your balance sheet, and both of those reports need to be read together, because I can look at a profit and loss and go, fantastic, very profitable, this is a great business. But my other side of the story is the balance sheet. And what's the balance sheet saying to me? Are you profitable because you've made all these sales, but you haven't actually collected the on the invoices yet, and therefore you've got a higher risk of uncollectible debts? Both need to be read together, and that's what's important. And then you've got your third report, statement of cash flows. That tells you your source of funding. So I can look at your balance sheet and say, hey, you've got, X amount of dollars in the bank, fantastic, but I need to know where the source of fundings come. Balance sheet will tell me part of that. But statement of cash flows will break it down. What came from operating activities? What came from financing? So what did you get from a loan?
Yep.
Or what did you pay off to a loan? And what did you get from equity source? So what did you get from putting money into the business as a business owner? And all three of those reports key together to help you look at doing. And as I said, you don't need to create them manually yourself. We have templates on the website, and all your accounting software have all of those reports as standard generally in their reporting. And if you know what you're doing, you can then break those reports down and change the format of them to suit your business. But as a standard, they've all got a standard profit and loss balance sheet, and most of them also have cash flow in there as well. But not always easy to report directly from something like Xero or FreshBooks on cash flow. Not just Xero and FreshBooks, but also QuickBooks and Reckon and MyOb.
Yep.
Cash flows tends to take a little additional reporting.
A little additional work.
Yes.
Okay. Should we open up the floor for some questions if people have got
Absolutely.
any questions for us? Okay, so if you've got any questions for Kylea while we're here about your financial foundations, about where you are in the journey, please pop them into the Q&A or pop them into the Facebook Live chat and question under the comments in the Facebook Live, and we will answer them. If you are watching the replay session, please ask your questions and we will come back, and Kylie will check in for the next couple of days on the live, and she'll come back and answer and do all of those sorts of things. So have you got any questions? Let's see if people can get typing. We'll give Facebook a few minutes behind us because, you know, there's always a delay and a lag in the world of Facebook. But this is your chance. This is your chance to open up, ask the question. There is no silly question. And if you want to ask Kylie and actually come onto microphone, just let me know. Send me a note in the chat and I'll make you a panelist so you can talk, or I'll allow you to talk. I don't need to make you a panelist, but I'll be allowed to talk so you can have a chat with her.
I'm happy to answer any questions, but like Linda said earlier, just remember it needs to be general in nature. I can't give you specific advice.
Yeah. If the software doesn't do the cash flow as well, how do you suggest about staying on top of cash flow? To get reports. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so Xero does have some cash flow in there, so it has some basic reporting in there. There are some additional add-ons that you can actually get to plug into the software like Xero and a few others that will really, if it's really important to your business, that you can suggest to actually look at and get that added in. Yeah. And I like some of that to actually do that. And that's important. So I would look at, if you're using a software like Xero, I would look at maybe investing in one of the add-ons that will really do some good, strong cash flow reporting for you.
Cool. Now, Manal asks, when it comes to getting ourselves paid, this is such a good question about being paid in business owners. Should we pay out a fixed amount regardless of whether we're making a profit or a loss?
Well, it's really depending on your business, and without getting into specifics, first of all, you need to make sure you've got the cash available in the bank to pay yourself, or you've got an overdraft facility that's in place, but ultimately you've got to have the cash there. You need to plan, and it's all dependent on your structure. So if you're a sole trader and set up as a sole trader, it doesn't matter because you can't actually pay yourself as such, but you can transfer an allowance of money across, because as a sole trader, you can't pay yourself, but you can employ other people. So let's be very clear about that. You can employ anybody else, but you can't employ yourself as a sole trader because your profits are your income. If you are part of a company, and you can pay yourself a couple of ways out of there. If you can set yourself up as an employee and pay yourself as an employee through your company. You can also pay yourself director fees if you are a director on the company as well. It still goes through the normal process. You need to pay super, payroll tax. You need to look at all your obligations there. You need to look at whether or not that means you need to report for STP, and that's all dependent on your business circumstances. And also, if you are an owner in a company, your other option outside of the payroll is dividends at the year end. dividends can be declared and paid to you from that way as well. Whether or not you pay yourself regularly on a fixed salary, you can, and absolutely that's where you should ultimately get to. You should ultimately get to that you can draw yourself a regular salary. Otherwise, what's the point of making our empires if we can't pay ourselves and support ourselves? While we love what we do, we're also not here to do it for free all the time and not have anything coming in. So yeah, I would definitely, if you can, Manal, look at doing it that way. But it depends on your business structure as well as to which way is the best way for you to actually pay yourself there.
Yep. What are the considerations for including sales and marketing with, I'm gathering CGOS as cost of goods, gee, I am a little more numbers nerd than I thought I was, with gross profit or as an expense with net profit?
So generally, like I said, COGS, as has been written there in there, cost of goods sold. So if you're selling a product, I tend to include only direct costs in as the cost of goods sold. So if you've got a product X, you're selling it, it becomes part of your revenue. So what you get for product X is the revenue. What you're paid for product X so you can sell it, or whether you're making it, if you happen to make and manufacture a product, it's in there. It's as your cost of goods sold. Marketing's always one of those ones, it's always a trouble. Like Linda, it's always trouble. But if it's if it's a direct type of marketing cost, you can include it as part of your cost of goods sold. But generally, if it's overall marketing, if you can't tie it back to a product specific, I would include it below your gross profit line and include it as part of your overhead expenses or your indirect expenses. Tend to be, for me, if you can include it, if you can directly align it to a product, then it should be as part of your cost of goods sold. So you can directly align a product you may have purchased. Then if you may have improved that product in any way in your manufacture process or what you're doing to it, that should all be included as part of your cost of goods sold, because that's all part of the process of getting your good to a point where you can actually sell it to a customer.
Yeah. And look, that varies inside businesses. I even know from here, and I'm from a marketer. I'm a marketing point of view. So I know when we assign marketing costs, we will assign general overall marketing costs, like our Facebook page, the tools we use to manage staff, all of that particular stuff goes overall. But if we're running an event, for example, and we know we've run particular ads for that event, we know that we've got venue hire for the event, or we know that, we've created videos and we've created content to be able to do that, we will assign that cost to that event because it's not a general brand building thing. That's particularly that event. We know what the ad spend was, we know what the budget is. But if we're building a brand overall, and that's 90% of what your marketing will be, is building brand and building brand awareness. Then it comes into what I would have called in the old days an operational cost. In the old corporate world day, it's an operational cost. And yeah, we'll see how it goes from there, and it gets split up between the departments in my head. Okay, Dawn has said she sells a physical product and she wonders if she should be splitting the incoming amount from each sale to show what proportion is product and which proportion is postage, and does it not matter?
So it does and it doesn't matter. If you're selling postage as additional on top of a product and you want to work out what the true cost of the product is, it's nice to be able to separate out the product, the $20 you got for the product against the $5 of postage, for example. So overall, in your financial reports, it doesn't matter. It's going to go down as $25 in your sale. Your management reporting, it's nice to see $20 was related to the product sale, $5 was related to postage, because postage, ultimately, you're not making money on postage. You're actually recouping your postage cost.
Sometimes losing money on it.
Correct. And but that's the ultimate. At the same time, there's generally reasons why sometimes you might be using it. It comes part of the product cost. But then, excuse me, just 1 second here.
No, that's okay. No, guys, postage. We sell physical product. It's something that does my head in is trying to work out postage to what people are prepared to pay to what it actually costs for us to be able to send it. And also the consistency of delivery. And that is a big one for us. So as much as we could possibly get it cheaper to post something elsewhere, the comebacks on it not being damaged or not being delivered properly and that sort of stuff. So sometimes, and I look in-house, we're an example of it. On one product in particular, we know we have to wear the cost of postage, because if we charge what it actually was, no one will buy the product. So we wear a couple of dollars on the post of each one of those items.
And it also depends also on how you want your pricing strategy on your products. You know, some people, you know, don't want to pay postage. So some people will sell it that it's for free postage. Nothing's actually ever for free. Your postage is actually in the product price. It's just being priced accordingly in the pricing strategy. And so it depends on how you actually want to take that for the business as to what's to go. I buy postage products in bulk. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and ultimately it should be wrapped up. You need to factor that in your pricing strategy of how you're pricing a product. What's the cost of the product? What's the element do I need to allow for the marketing of the product? What element do I need to cover my overhead costs? What element do I need to cover my service on the product of actually handling the product? And what's the postage and what profit margin then do I want after all of that?
And by the way, guys, your postage cost also includes the time it takes you to pack it, wrap it, and take it to the post office.
Absolutely. And that's not always going to be in your recorded as an expense in your profit and loss. You don't put in the cost of time to put all of that in. So that's why you should definitely look at your pricing strategy separately for your products. And that's where doing analysis on these reports. So if you're tracking your expenses and you're tracking your management accounts, you're doing your analysis on your products at the end, that's when you'll actually be able to tell, am I actually making a profit on this product, or do I need to actually change my price?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where from my experience, that's where the management accounting really comes into its own.
Yep. Really, and that's pricing strategy is part of your management accounting. It's part of the analysis that you do. And it's, again, it goes back to you need information to do your pricing strategy. And that comes back to having your foundation set and having your bookkeeping done so you're recording everything so that you can actually then look at strategies.
It is so, so true. Well, if we don't have any more questions, Kylie, I'm going to ask you to leave us with one final tip today, and then I'll let everyone into what's coming up into the world of BBB and what training sessions and workshops they can get involved in.
Yeah, so I think for me, knowing your business numbers as a business owner and knowing the numbers behind your business, it's essential. And as a business owner, I implore you that's one of the most important things you should do. It helps you make informed decisions within your business, and it has the potential to make a really big impact on your business. It helps you to, grow that empire, and it helps you to understand your bottom line. So if you haven't already, have those foundations set up, have your separate business bank account, have a good bookkeeping system, get into a regular routine. Outsource all or part of it as you need to help you, and then make sure that you're getting it done regularly. Then you need to make sure that you're reviewing those key financial reports and getting set up for your future. And, then we all have our own empires, depending on how big they are, is all about how much we want to grow our business.
Absolutely. And guys, remember, Kylie's got the free e-course for you to enroll in and take and delve into this even more with her. And, part of that process is you get to know her as you go through this course with her. So jump in, do that, take the opportunities to be able to do that. Well, as I mentioned, we are back for our first lot of training for 2021 here inside the business community. And there is a lot going on this year. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's coming up next and over the next couple of months, because there's lots. But for those of you who have asked me to put out my training sessions for the next 12 months, they are literally all up in Eventbrite. So unless I'm doing a face-to-face workshop, all the online stuff I've done is actually up for 12 months. So that is apart from our skills webinars and that, which will come as we book them and as we get a few community people in. And I think we're going to have Kylie back to come back and do something on sales strategy and sales pricing.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't know, but now she does.
I am more than happy to help.
It will be good, and I think it's something that we all need to look at is our pricing strategy and how we actually price our stuff when we do that. And I'm a big believer in charging what is appropriate for the product, the service, and the knowledge that you bring and you deliver throughout that journey. And nothing frustrates me more than people thinking that they should be able to get advice or get your service for free or cheap or test it out or make sure that they want to do that, because they're not valuing your time. And as a coach, if I can leave all coaches with one strong tip today, your knowledge, your expertise, the years of training, the fact that I've done this for freaking 20 years of my life and Kylie's been in the same boat, we bring together tips and tricks and knowledges and ways around stuff that is always known. Okay, so what do we have coming up? Man, we've got another skills webinar on numbers. Oh my God. What the heck am I doing to myself? Our skills webinar for the 23rd of March is actually growing your course business with data insights. And we've got John from Wisebank. Now, this tool is literally about to be released and it's going to have some beta access. Now, Wisebank is actually looking at helping you understand your course creation metrics from a sales point of view. They've got some integrations that are going to work with Xero and your bank account and actually understand what your cost of sale per course is. Yes, I thought Kylie would like this one.
I'm liking the sound of this one. I might be on for this one.
I'm loving the sound of this one. So I've just put the link into the skills webinar page. If you go to the skills page, you'll be able to jump in and take that one. It is a must. If you're running courses, workshops, webinars, training, that sort of stuff, this stuff is going to be good. And for those of you who are teaching on Thinkific, they've got the integration into Thinkific, which is why we are bringing this one together first of all. Okay, February 21, starting in 1 week's time, we have the course creation kickstart. Those of you who don't know, I'm a Thinkific approved expert. I take the knowledge out of your head in these kickstarts and I literally help you put it together into a plan and a course option for me able to do that. I politely kick your butt over 3 weeks, and Kylie's laughing because she's been through it. Throughout that journey to help you understand, look at your knowledge. If you've been teaching in classroom or you think there's something you want to teach or you repeat questions all the time, then the kickstart's for you. We've got, I think, 4 more spots left in that one if you want to join us from there. For those of you who have been looking at blogging, we have a Blogging for Business working day online on March 25th, where we're going to go through the formula of blogging. So what's the structure, what's the strategy, and helping you understand the process of blogging when it comes to educating your market, which is all what I'm about when we talk about marketing. I'm an organic marketer and like you to market from there. What else we got coming up on April 16? That'll be far enough. We can go that far. April 16, we've got our Inspire, Engage, Connect on social media working day, where we delve into what has come through in Inspire. Here we go. I'm just popping the link in again for you, Judith. Inspire, Engage, Connect working day is literally about what's inspiring, engaging, and connecting. And that one is going to be pretty important this year because Facebook have changed the page experience. They're adding new features. So really looking at having that engagement factor is going to be huge. So that is all on the website. It's all on the BBB skills page. So business.com.au/skills. And man, that was a mouthful. Thank you for joining us. Kylie, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your education. Guys, I cannot stress enough, take the course, jump in there. If you can pick up some knowledge and some expertise, even if it's all enough to go, this is not my thing, I'm handing off to someone else. At least know the foundations, know what foundations are important so that you know when you get these reports what you need to look for. Kylie, thanks for joining us. One final tip today. One final thing to leave everyone with.
Numbers are not scary.
There we go. Numbers are not scary, guys. We will see you for our next skills webinar in March. In the meantime, pop into the Facebook group, say hi, take Kylie's course, and I'll see you around next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.